Dating isn't easy. Leaving your shell and testing the waters of a new potential relationship is less daunting when you have a hold over social cues, body language signs, and common red flags, which comes with dating experience. While it is great to give people the benefit of the doubt, you should always prioritize your happiness and comfort. What we consider a red flag is anything that comes up on a date that may lead to miscommunication or challenges in the future with a person. While these are different for everyone, there are some things we believe you should not ignore. Anyways, let's dive into 7 things a man can do on a date that is your cue to leave. But before we do that, we would really like it if you could click the like button to support the channel. Remember, we make these videos for free for your entertainment, and that is all we ask for in support. Hit the subscribe button while you are there too. All set? Let's look at the 7 instances where you should leave your date. While social rules dictate that you should be polite and simply walking out on a date seems daunting, there are some instances where you feel uncomfortable and neglected. Especially if something like this happens on your first date where first impressions are imperative, it's not a good sign and it can be really difficult to continue with the date. Certain behavior goes way beyond you feeling uncomfortable at the moment. Sometimes a comment or action can tell a lot about your date. Use of language or tone you're not comfortable with or commenting on the food you order can show how they don't care about making a good first impression. In the case of a first date, or show how they actually treat people if they acted differently on the first few dates. While walking out on a date is easier said than done, sometimes it's more important to realize that you don't enjoy someone's company before undertaking a relationship you won't be happy with. Not treating staff properly. It's important to notice how your date treats staff members. Snapping at the waiter for a small mistake or not tipping are signs he doesn't treat other people well. If he has condescending behavior towards staff that works at the location of your date or has a big outburst over a small misstep, don't be oblivious to it. Making a scene over something that could be overlooked is not a good sign. A man might even do this to feel superiority complex and boost his confidence around you. But let him know that this behavior is not for you. Apologize to the staff and leave. A man with a short temper for small missteps is a clear sign he isn't patient or tolerant, and who knows, he might treat you the same way. Not asking questions. The purpose of going on a date is to get to know the other person as much as you can. A good conversation involves a good balance of active listening and asking questions. But when you find yourself being the only one asking questions and doing all the listening, realize that this is your cue to leave. A good conversation can't take place unless you show genuine interest in what the other person has to say, and if your date doesn't seem to ask you questions at all, he either isn't interested in getting to know you or just loves talking about himself. He might go on and on about his job or his opinions on politics without caring whether you're even interested in what he's saying. Not honoring your point of view and what you have to say is a bright red flag that you should not ignore. Using their phone. Possibly one of the worst things a man can do on a date is text a friend or take a call, especially when you're talking. If a man cuts you off to take a call or text while you talk, just ask for your bill and leave. The least he can do is ask if he can take the call if it's really important. Using his phone while on a date when he should actually be trying to get to know you is a clear sign he's not interested and doesn't care if you feel neglected or unimportant. And if that's the case, we think it's best you don't waste your time. Commenting on your food. We have our own preferences when it comes to food. We think what you eat is your business. Your choice of food may also be personal to you if you struggle with your weight or have an eating disorder. If a man judges your food choice without considering how you feel about your diet and weight, it shows that he's insensitive. Comments like, "Wow, are you going to finish all of that?" or "Why did you order a salad?" are not really what you want to hear on a date. He may even go as far as judge the food you want to order and try to order for you. This shows his controlling nature and how he might try to control other things you do. Insensitivity to things that could be personal to the other person and controlling nature are red flags. And if you encounter this, it's best that you enjoy your food in the company of other people who won't comment on the type of pasta you order or the amount of food you eat. Allowing friends to interrupt your date. Your date may encounter a friend or two while they're with you. While it's fine to say hi and introduce you to them, if he turns the date into a hangout with you and his friends, just make up an excuse and leave. It's important that a date consists of one-on-one time where 2 people get to know each other. If your date meets his friends and expects you to be fine with them being around, it shows that he's inconsiderate and doesn't care if you're comfortable or not. Especially if you've only just met, you're already trying to get to know your date. The added burden of meeting his friends and getting to know them isn't one time you should take if you don't want to. If you would prefer having his friends around rather than having one-on-one time with you, it's pretty clear he isn't interested in the date and would prefer to hang out with his friends over you. If this happens, tell his friends it was nice meeting them and say goodbye. Not sharing anything about himself. While it's necessary that your date asks you questions about yourself, it's also not great if that's all he does. It's possible that he's nervous and counters it by asking a lot of questions, but if he dodges your questions and gives short, half-hearted answers, it's clear that he isn't willing to share things about his life with you. And naturally, this can leave you questioning if he's hiding something crucial. It's important for your date to be honest with you and not pretend to be someone he's not. If he seems untruthful in his answers or seems like he's trying to hide something, it might be your cue to leave. You don't want to leave the date feeling like he knows everything about you and you don't know anything about him. Before we move on, have you ever encountered these things on a date before? Do you think you would let any of them pass or simply walk out on the date? Let us know in the comments below. And now, the thing that would make anyone leave their date. Not knowing how to behave in public. Respecting the comfort of the people around you is basic social etiquette, but when your date talks too loud during a movie or shouts to call a waiter to your table, it can be uncomfortable for everybody in the room, including you. Empathy for other people is a basic trait every person should have. If you feel your date is not aware of his actions in public and is visibly making other people around you uncomfortable, you don't want to stay for long. And with that, we have reached the end of our video on 7 things men do on dates and why you should leave them if they do. Dating can be tough, and it's important to know what you can and cannot tolerate on a date to save your time and energy. If you've watched till the end, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your post notifications. If you liked this video, check out this next one, and we will catch you all next time.